Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 40 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. First in from South Asia, days after Operation Sindoor inflicted heavy damage upon Pakistan's terror hubs and its air bases, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has now extended an offer for talks to India. He said Pakistan is ready to engage for peace. However, he added alleged conditions for peace and raked up Kashmir. And after days of intense fighting, India and Pakistan have agreed to a ceasefire. Islamabad said that the countries agreed for a ceasefire until May 18th. This comes after military-level talks between the two sides. Both nations decided not to initiate any aggressive behavior and continue confidence-building measures. Days after Operation Sindoor, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh visited the Bhuj Air Force Station in Gujarat. This was one of the installations targeted by the Pakistani military last week. He warned Pakistan and said Operation Sindoor is not over yet. Whatever happened was just a trailer. The Defence Minister also interacted with the air warriors at the airbase. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has responded to US President Donald Trump on his claim of mediating talks between India and Pakistan. Jaishankar said India's relations and dealings with Pakistan will be strictly bilateral. He also said that Prime Minister Modi has made it clear that any talks with Pakistan will only be on terror. India's S. Jaishankar spoke to Taliban's acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi over a call. The talks marked India's first ministerial-level outreach to the Taliban regime since the 2021 takeover. Jaishankar appreciated the Taliban minister's condemnation of Pahalgam terrorist attack. He added that the duo discussed ways and means of taking cooperation forward. According to reports, over 140 Palestinians were killed in a wave of Israeli attacks across the Gaza Strip. The strikes carried out since dawn on Thursday also killed children. These attacks fell on the 77th anniversary of Nakba Day, which marks the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in 1948 during the establishment of the Israeli state. A Houthi missile attack triggered air raid sirens, said the Israeli military. The Houthi missile was intercepted by the Israeli forces. The Iran-backed rebels claimed their attack targeted Ben Gurion Airport. An Israeli raid in the West Bank's Tamun town killed at least 5. The Israeli military said it had neutralized 5 terrorists and 6th was arrested. The raid came after a pregnant settler was killed in a shooting on Wednesday night. At least 13 people were injured when a driver lost control and plowed his car into a crowd that had gathered outside a soccer stadium in Barcelona ahead of a match between RCD Espanyol and FC Barcelona. Riot police used batons to disperse the crowd as it rushed towards the car after the ramming incident. Kenya's former deputy president launched his new Democracy for Citizens Party, or the DCP. However, moments after the launch rally, armed men dispersed the protesters. Kenya's parliament has voted to impeach the former deputy president over charges of stirring ethnic hatred, among others. His new party is expected to run against William Ruto's ruling United Democratic Alliance Party in the upcoming elections expected in 2027. In climate news, a fast-moving wildfire near Lac Da Bonnie, Manitoba has left 2 people dead and forced several communities to evacuate. Fire officials confirmed the bodies were found near Wendigo Road as the blaze, described as out of control, continues to rage. Firefighters are deploying air tankers to combat the flames, while locals describe the emotional toll of losing homes and fearing for their lives. Wildfire smoke has been invading the homes of more than 1 billion people worldwide every year for the past 2 decades, according to a new global analysis. The study highlights that even with doors and windows shut, indoor pollution can triple on wildfire days, exposing residents to harmful particles linked to serious health issues. Visitors at Argentina's famed Perito Moreno Glacier witnessed towering blocks of ice, some as tall as 20-story building breaking off into the water below. Guides and glaciologists, one reassured by the glacier's stability, now fear it's finally succumbing to global warming trends. A bizarre accident in Sao Paulo saw a truck crashing, leading to a blue dye spill that turned local waters neon blue. It has affected wildfire in the Zardin Dasha to Lipas Creek and beyond. Images showed ducks, fish and even a capybara tingled with blue while dead fish floated in the lake. Authorities are racing to assess the environmental damage. A vast dark stain appeared off the Rio de Janeiro popular Barra Tijuca beach, raising alarms among locals and experts. Officials link the discoloration to pollution-laden lagoon waters emptied into the sea during an unusually strong ebb tide. Environmentalists blamed years of unregulated urban growth and poor sanitation, which have turned the lagoons into open sewers. On to business and tech news now. Stocks in Asia ended an otherwise strong week on a softer note as euphoria over US-China trade talks faded. Earlier today, the MSCI's broadest index of Asia Pacific, shares outside Japan slipped 0.1% but remained on track for a weekly gain of 3%. Japan's Nikkei fell 0.4% while Hong Kong's Hang Seng shed 0.6%. Meanwhile, both Nasdaq and S&P 500 futures dropped 0.1%. Japan's economy shrinks for the first time in a year. Official data out today showed GDP contracts 0.7% on an annualized basis in the January to March quarter, a share dropper than 0.2% market forecast. Stagnant consumption and falling exports drive the decline, and economists warn the recovery remains fragile amid US tariff threats. Walmart, the world's largest retailer, says it will start raising prices later this month due to the high cost of tariffs, signaling the trade war's impact on American consumers. This comes as many US companies slash or pull their full-year projections following the trade war and a slowdown in consumer spending. Dick's Sporting Goods agrees to acquire smaller rival Foot Locker for $2.4 billion, boosting its presence in the sneaker market and expanding internationally. The deal comes as US retailers face rising costs from steep tariffs and navigate choppy consumer demands. This is the second major footwear deal this month following the buyout of Skechers. Bankrupt US pharmacy chain Rite Aid agrees to sell pharmacy assets for more than 1,000 stores, including locations in Washington, Oregon and Idaho, to CVS Pharmacy, Walgreens, Albertsons, Kroger and Giant Eagle. This follows Rite Aid filing for bankruptcy for the second time in less than 2 years after struggling with poor performance in its retail business. The US Federal Aviation Administration plans to hold a third day of talks today with airlines to cut flights at Newark Liberty International Airport. The US aviation regulator seeks airline concessions as runway construction, equipment outages, and staffing shortages continue to disrupt flights. Alphabet's Google One subscription service reportedly surpasses 150 million users, driven by a strong demand for its new AI-powered plans. This comes as the tech giant looks to strengthen its push beyond the advertising revenue. Meta asks a US judge to throw out a case filed by the Federal Trade Commission, arguing that the agency failed to prove it holds an illegal social media monopoly. This as the US Federal Trade Commission claims Meta acquired Instagram and WhatsApp to eliminate competition. Meanwhile, Meta is reportedly delaying the launch of its flagship Behemoth AI model, citing internal concerns about its performance. A new report suggests company engineers are struggling to make meaningful improvements, raising concerns about whether it's ready for public release. Meta now plans to push the launch to autumn or later. Chinese tech giant Xiaomi plans to launch a self-developed mobile chip called later this month. This announcement comes as the company expands in-house chip development for high-end devices and as competition in China's smartphone market further intensifies. Moving to sports, we begin with cricket. The Indian Cricket Board (BCCI) is keen on adopting 2 to 3 Olympic disciplines. This is for the Indian Sports Ministry's bid to establish specialized training centers. The cricket body's intent was conveyed during a meeting with the Indian Sports Minister. Further, the gathering also featured representatives from 58 corporate houses. 8 South African players who are part of the World Test Championship final squad are set to miss the IPL 2025 playoffs in India. This as the players have been asked to return home by May 27. The players will leave for UK along with the rest of South Africa's WTC final squad on May 30th to play a warm-up game against Zimbabwe from June 3 at Arundel. Pet Stokes has said he is ready to play a full role as an all-rounder in England's test matches against Zimbabwe and India. Stokes spent the last 5 months recovering from a hamstring tear. He had to rush back due to the same injury last year as well. UEFA has accused FIFA President Gianni Infantino of following alleged private political interests over fulfilling his responsibilities to football. The intervention came after several delegates walked out of the annual FIFA Congress. This was to protest the alterations to the meeting schedule. The changes were due to Infantino's late arrival in the meeting as he accompanied Donald Trump on a tour to the Gulf states. FIFA has also lifted its suspension on the Republic of Congo's Soccer Federation. The suspension revocation came after 3 months after it was imposed. This was due to third-party interference in its affairs amid a dispute with country's sports ministry. It led to the closure of the Congo Federation's headquarters and some sports facilities. Barcelona have clinched the La Liga title after defeating city rivals Espanyol 2-0. Lamine Yamal opened the scoring shortly after a goalless first half. Fermin Lopez scored the winner. A Rio de Janeiro court has ordered the removal of the board of Brazil's Football Confederation or the CBF. The order also applies to President Enaldo Rodrigues. This comes as Rodrigues is accused of forging former CBF President Antonio Carlos Nunes de Lima's signature on an agreement. The agreement allowed him to be re-elected as board's leader until 2030. Cristiano Ronaldo has topped the Forbes list of highest paid athletes for the third consecutive year. The star footballer has increased his estimated total earnings by $15 million to $275 million. He has topped the last 5 times in his career. NBA star Stephen Curry has moved up to second. World number 1 Yannick Sinner demolished 6th seed Casper Ruud in straight sets 6-0, 6-1 and marched into the semi-finals of the Italian Open yesterday. The match lasted for a little over an hour. Indian javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra has cleared the air on his friendship with his Pakistani opponent Arshad Nadeem. Chopra said that the two were never really close, adding that things won't be the same after the recent India-Pakistan conflict. Remarks came after the Indian athlete faced backlash over inviting Nadeem to the now postponed NC Classic in Bengaluru. And finally, from the world of showbiz, in Sean Diddy Combs' high-profile criminal trial, his legal team challenged ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura's claims of coercion into drug-fueled sex parties. They presented messages where she allegedly appeared to consent. Ventura, however, insists she was manipulated over 11 years of abuse. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges including sex trafficking and racketeering. Little Mermaid star Halle Bailey has been granted full custody of her son Halo. This is after she filed for a restraining order against ex-boyfriend DDG over allegations of physical, emotional and financial abuse. Bailey told the court she feared for her safety and that of her child, detailing a pattern of violence and threats since the breakup in 2024. The Cannes Film Festival was rocked by controversy as a woman publicly accused a senior executive of sexual assault during a roundtable on harassment. Now, following the accusation, the Cannes vice president was suspended. Simultaneously, the main festival barred a French actor accused of rape by multiple women from walking the red carpet, signaling a toughened stance on abuse allegations. Pop icon Miley Cyrus is bringing her visual album Something Beautiful to theatres for a one-night-only event. The cinematic project, teased with a new trailer, showcases Cyrus in a series of striking emotional scenes. This also includes a steamy moment with boyfriend Max Morando. Fans can expect a blend of music, art and a raw emotion when the film hits the screens. And finally, as Oasis gears up for a highly anticipated reunion tour, bassist Andy Bell has officially confirmed his return to the lineup. Bell, who played a key role in the band's final years, told Australian media he's excited to back alongside Gallagher brothers, hence fueling further buzz around the Britpop legend's comeback shows. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gushin Galan and we'll see you right back here next week. Stay informed and stay tuned to Firstpost.